Okay, well, this is scary, but here we go. Welcome to Oboe Slander. I'm Matthew,
And I'm LaBarrin.
and we wanted to create a podcast, kind of to fill the void of Double Reed Dish, um, but minus the bassoons because they don't matter.
We don't need them right now. This isn't about you.
We also won't have regular guests that we're talking to. It's really just us talking about our lives because we're the most important people.
We're the stars in the universe, and you're all watching and or listening.
Well, let's introduce ourselves a little bit more. We'll talk about how long we've played the oboe. I started playing the oboe in the 10th grade. So I was an age, and I don't know what that age is. How old are people in the 10th grade?
Maybe like 15, 16, depending on when you're born, like in the
Okay.
year, summer, spring, fall, winter.
I'm at the end of winter.
Okay,
So
so you're
I was like
probably
15, I
15-ish.
think.
Yeah.
So that means I've been playing the oboe for 20 years now.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
How about you?
Oh my gosh. I also started when I was in the second semester of my 10th grade year in high school. So, an age, that's how long I've
Oh, not divulging.
not divulging. Ooh wee. No, it's been around the same time.
What made you decide to play the oboe? And what were you playing before?
So originally I played the clarinet from beginning of middle school till that part of my sophomore year in high school. I thought the clarinet was fine, but I decided I wanted a challenge, and the oboe always interested me. So I decided to do that, and then I think it was also because my soon-to-be teacher at the time, he used to go to my middle school and high school and teach lessons during the day, during band class, so I would hear him constantly while I was in band, and I was like, "What a nice, unique instrument." And so, I said, "Let me make my life a little more difficult and switch to the oboe instead of playing the clarinet." So, here we are.
So wanted to play the oboe because I don't know if I've ever told you this story. It's a good one. So I was a trumpet player and I was pretty okay at it. But there was this girl that I pretended to have a crush on who played the oboe. And what better way to show your affection for someone than to be like, oh, you play this thing? Let me show you how I'm better at it than you are. So she let me take her oboe home one weekend and I played it. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I fought my band directors for many years, trying to make them let me switch to the oboe, and they wouldn't. And then I got into youth orchestra on the oboe and was like, let me play the oboe. And they were like, fine. So now I play the oboe and haven't touched a trumpet since high school, I don't think.
And you know what? Maybe that's for good reason. There's enough trumpet players in the world. We need more oboe players. I'm sure the oboe players listening to this don't wanna hear that, but it's true.
Hmm. It was very trumpet player of me to be like, let me show you that I'm better at you than this. So, like,
Right.
things were already going badly with my ego, and it needed to be shut down,
Nothing's worse than a woodwind player with the ego of a brass player. So,
truly.
you
Oh, and
brought it
I've
on.
known a few, and it is rough.
It makes me dizzy, for sure. It makes me dizzy.
Where did you go to school?
Well, after I graduated high school, I went to Pensacola State College to do my AA, and I decided to take, 3 years instead of 2 just to see if music is what I really wanted to do. And then after that, I went to Florida State University and did another 4 years of school there just to get the full experience, and then graduated and went to the University of Iowa, where I currently am still at in the Iowa City area. Graduated 4 years ago with my master's, and now I freelance and work at the College of Education at the university as this admin services coordinator. So I just hang out at the front desk of the education building.
What is an AA? I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's the Associates of Arts degree. It's like a 2-year degree.
Okay. No, I
So
was like, I have no idea what this is. I was like,
an
Alcoholics Anonymous?
anonymous?
Uh,
Yeah, I I had to work on that early and then said, "Free me from that," and now I'm in college.
So I went to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro for 3 years, and then I dropped out, and now I'm still just gigging around and have positions in my 6 symphonies and sub in some more and teach a little bit and make reads and cry a lot.
The cry a lot is very real, but it's fine. I love it for you. We're just here to talk about oboe things, have a good time, give a real conversation to it, and make everyone we're basically saying what some people think a little bit, just giving them a
Yes.
little taste.
Well, let's move on to what our reads are like other than terrible.
Oh, please.
So, my typical reed setup is my staple. I use Sierra 47 millimeter in brass, and I use a Mac Pfeiffer shaper tip and tie it 72.5 millimeters.
I
And
mean,
I typically use 10.5 to 11 Rigotti cane on the Inaletti gouger.
ooh, that Annalena Gouger, she's a star. Everyone loves her. She is phenomenal. I do not use that. I use a Ross Gouger 10 to 10.5 with Grimaud cane that I get from Advantage Double Reeds. And I use Cherokee 47 2 plus brass and the Mark Chutnow, excavated and solid in like brass and sometimes gold because I just feel bougie with the gold and it's pretty to look at. Sometimes it has to be about the aesthetics.
I have definitely used those gold ones a couple times. They're the only ones that work for me. And every so often I'm like, ooh, they vibrate so different.
Yeah, I just don't know how they do it. Mine, they last forever, and I'm like, "That's weird." My brass ones will die within a week, and I'm like, "Crazy." But the shaper tip I use currently, I'm using the Joshua 2 Plus, been a little inspired by Celeste Johnson, so I was like, "Let me try this" couple months ago, and now it's kind of stuck, and I have not gone back to my Gilbert -1 at all since then. Well,
If it works, it works.
exactly.
We go for it. Because I constantly am playing around with like tie length and staples and everything because I'm constantly going, well, now I have this problem. Now I have this problem. Now I have this problem. And so then I go back to like my main setup and I'm like, yeah, I guess this isn't so bad.
You're like, "Oh, why did I leave?"
Why is every read not perfect? I don't understand.
I just thought fixing this one thing, changing one shape or tip or staple would make everything better, and somehow it added another 3 problems that I didn't have before.
And I know I told you about this where I was like, I am so flat, so let me tie longer. And I was like, I'm flatter because, but I was like, it should be more closed and I should be narrower at the throat. The pitch should come up. Apparently not. Apparently your lengths and you're making the acoustical length greater. And by tying shorter, you have a shorter acoustical length, which brings the pitch up. But I'm like, but the length at the end is the same and everything's bigger. I was like, I don't understand what's happening
I
here. So if there are any physicists in the oboe community that would like to tell me why this works, that would be great.
oh, we'll take the magic of it working for now, but if you have a scientific approach and reasoning, send it our way because it is all just a trick of the mind, the reed making
Yes.
it is.
Have you
But
made any extra good reads or bad reads this month?
extra bad yeah, so I recently got back into working on more English horn reeds more frequently. I usually just can handle doing, like, 1 or 2 at a time, and I'm like, "Yeah, this will be fine," like, a month later, I'll jump back in. But I decided to jump in maybe doing more reads, and I've just been forgetting their English horn reads and not oboe reads, and I make them the same way, and then I'm like, "This is really easy and really honky, and it won't stop honking and being obnoxious." I'm like, "That's right, I made the tip paper thin and the heart, like, extremely thick, so it just sounds like a really big kazoo."
Oh,
So that's my
when I
chaos.
have reads like that, that's usually when I go to crow on it, I just get like the squall, like just the high pitched chirp. And I'm like, "What? I hate this." But then I put it on something and I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't play like it's honky, but it's vibrating so nicely."
Yeah, I'm like, "Ooh." I love the freedom, and then I'm like, "Wait, how am I supposed to play New World on this?" I
Mhm.
can't. Like, this is not that kind of read. What about you? Good experiments, bad experiments, best read, worst read? What have you got for me?
They've just sort of all been terrible.
Oh, no.
I feel
No.
everything I've made, I'll even be like, "Oh, this one's gonna turn out. This one feels good." And then I let it sit and I come back to it and I'm like, "Cool, it's stiffened up. That's fine. Let me take a little bit more off of it." And then I just get this "ha" crow and I'm like, "What happened?" I was like I dusted. What is going on? And then I'm like, "Clip, clip," and it's still doing it. And then it's like, "Okay, well now the tip is half a millimeter long." What is happening? Part of it, I do think, is that I was using someone else's gouger, and it's a perfectly good gouger, but I'm just not used
Right.
to it, so I'm sure I'm doing something stupid with that. But now that I have mine back, I bet it'll be great. All of my reads are gonna be perfect again.
Blue Perfect, Red as Rain, everything you needed. We're back. We're so back because of that, so
Yes,
get
yes.
ready, everyone.
Um, I even got desperate enough that I was like, since I didn't have my Inaletti, I was going, "I'm gonna have to get used to using the Musecco gouge that I don't really like, but that I have," and I was just ready. I was like, "You're gonna get used to it, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine."
You have no choice. You have no choice. You have to lock in on it and just learn to love it.
Literally, as I was giving up is when the gouger appeared. Like, that day, I kid you not, the universe went, "You've had enough. Here it is."
I think you're at your lowest. I will give you a chance to be happy again.
Mhm.
Gouger at the door, right here. No notice. Love that. Everything's been a fail for us, but it's okay.
Everything.
Just you
I
wait.
am shout out, I am loving my vivid reading thread.
Vivid reading thread is iconic. Sparkle, shine, make you mine. I use it all the time and I cannot resist. So get your spools at vividreading.com.
So what's a recent gig you've played that you had fun at or was not so good?
Oh, right. Well, currently doing a gig cycle right now. Our concert's next week. We had rehearsal last week, our first rehearsal of the season. And it's kind of like it started out good, then got weirdly bad, but then was kind of like fine at the end. We're just going through the normal stuff, just playing, and then I'm like, okay, no more English horn. I play second oboe English horn in this orchestra. Put the English horn away during the break. Come back after the break. We're playing a piece. I've kind of just been checked out at this point because I'm so tired. And we're just trucking along. I'm sitting here with my oboe in my lap counting, and the conductor stops and he looks at me and he's just like, "Why aren't you playing the English horn solo there?" And I was like, "I don't have an English horn part. I don't know what you're talking about. What's solo?" And he's like, "There's an English horn part, like, you're the only one playing." And I'm like, "I don't have the music." And the librarian looks across from me, and she's giving me this crazy look in her eye, like, "You don't have your music?" And I was just like, I was never given the music. Without thinking, I had this sassy attitude telling her that. I was like, "I never got it." And she just, like, stopped, looked around, and her assistant, like, got up, ran to the back, and grabbed the music and gave it to me, and I was like, "Thanks," and put it on my stand, and then got my English horn right back out again, and then we didn't even play the part that I had to play the solo for.
Of course not.
Oh, and I was like, "This has been the craziest 2.5-hour rehearsal," and then it was over, and I was just like, "I'm going home." Signing off on that part. Good night. What about you? Loved, hated, what's up?
Because it's been summertime, I've played like 8 million outdoor concerts and I hate playing outside. But then I actually, for a few of them, it wasn't so bad. It like the weather really was like about as good as you could get for like an outdoor concert in August. And actually, one of them, they wanted to start earlier because they were a little bit afraid it was going to get too chilly. Like it was going to dip down into like the
Oh,
mid
no.
60s, but it never got that cool. So it was
Oh,
totally fine. But so really it just made it so it was like, "Oh, the weather is low 70s, upper 60s," which is gorgeous for outdoor playing. Um,
yes. Ooh.
True perfection. But then last week I played one and we were directly in the sun. And the way it's set up, basically we're surrounded by buildings. It's basically a giant courtyard, I guess.
Oh,
And it's cute. There's like a little fake river running around it, and we're just like in the middle. but it also gets really hot in there because there's nowhere for, like, the hot air to escape to other than just
Oh my
going
gosh.
straight up. Like, it can't go out, it can't spread. But and with that sun just beating down on us, I pull out my thermometer that I keep in my case because I'm extra and put it on my stand, and it got up to 101 degrees directly in the
Oh,
sun. And I was just like, "Absolutely not." And I got a little bit overheated. Like, we were trying to do our little sound check thing, and I played, and I was like, "I'm a little dizzy." And I went, "I'm not playing for right now. Like, this is not worth it." It's
yeah.
also the piece that we were running through. I was like, "This is John Williams. No one can hear third oboe." Like, it's
No
really
one.
okay. And even there was not even a big English horn part in it, and I just went, "It'll be fine." I won't say I hated it, but I hated it.
101 in direct sunlight. You're practically sitting in a fish tank with that fake river, just like
Yes.
locking that humidity and heat in.
Well, and I've had that fight with people, like, when I have it out, they're like, "Yeah, it's under the lights, though." And I was like, "Yeah, so am I." Like,
Guess who's under the light? Me.
and I was like, "So that's how hot this actually is." Because I even, like, I was trying to make sure, like, I wasn't holding the thermometer up being like, "Get in
You
there."
know,
Like, it was under the lip of my stand, so it was actually probably getting more shade than I was.
yeah. It was like, it's a little toasty, and you're like, I'm roasted to the core right now.
I was bright pink when I left that.
Ooh, not the bright. Nice little tan for later
No,
on.
just there
The
was
crunchy
sun and
one.
it touched me and I burned.
Roasted right there. Put a fork in her. This steak is done.
So how is your new job going at the University of Iowa?
So far, it's been really good. It's been a little over a month. I can't believe that, first of all. I was like, I got an email from like the HR person that like I worked with, and she was like, "Yeah, let's have a monthly check-in." And I said, "A month?" I was like, "It's been a month?" So it's been really good though. My coworkers are very nice and supportive, and a lot of the which I was very surprised about was a lot of like the education faculty that they like know I play the oboe and do concerts. So they whenever they see me, they're like, "Oh, when is your next concert? We would love to come hear you play." And I'm like, "You wanna come hear me play? Like, willingly?" They're like, "Absolutely." And I'm like, "Okay." So, once things get started, I'm gonna let them know about concerts if they wanna come hear me play the oboe or not. But overall, it's been very good. Everyone's been great, and I'm just having a good time, just getting into the swing of things and having a consistent schedule again after not having one for almost the entirety of this year. So, yay.
I think it's really cute that they wanna come hear you play because I feel like I don't even tell people about concerts because I'm like, "Who wants to come hear me play?" Nobody. Um, because 'cause I'm like, my poor husband has to listen to me play at home all the time. I mean, mostly what he hears, though, is like, like, that's all he hears because I feel like I do a lot of my practicing during the day when he's not here, which I think he would
Right.
rather me do the reed making when he's not here, but oh
He's
well.
invested in a really good pair of headphones, is what I'm hearing. He's like,
He has
"Everything's fine."
earplugs, because I was like, "You need earplugs when you go to your loud concerts that you
Yeah.
go to." And
He's
he
like,
was like, "No, it's fine." I was like, "You need earplugs."
"These matter. Your
Yes.
hearing matters,
Um,
whether you're on stage or in the pit. Get
and
to
then
it,
actually,
everyone."
this is a really great story. So one time we were in Pennsylvania. He does medieval fighting, blah, blah, it doesn't matter. So we're like glamping in our nice big tent.
Oh,
And in the mornings, and I don't think it's every day, but every few days, like the trucks come around to the different porta johns and like clean them out. But so one of those trucks is backing up and it's kind of close to the tent we were in. And so he just hears the beep, 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 beep. And he's asleep, or we're both asleep when this is happening. And so he was sort of in that in between state. And he was like, I was so mad at you because in this like half dream I was having, you were just like sitting in the corner of the tent making reeds at 6 a.m. going like, beep, beep.
I'm dreaming about my husband making reads, and he wakes up like, "There's a truck about to back over both of us in this
Yes,
tent."
but he was like,
I
"I was so mad."
not at the truck, at you
Yes,
specifically for
yes.
doing this to me.
Oh, man. But he told me that, and it's truly one of my favorite things. I was like, "I'm glad that my reads haunt you. You have nightmares about them."
That's the curse of being the spouse of an oboist. They learn how to play the oboe too. Know what
Mhm.
good read from a bad read.
Actually, I don't think I've ever let him play the oboe. That would be an interesting thing to do.
I
Just
think you should do that. Give him a You have more than one oboe. Let's get him into a couple lessons, and then some duets are coming our way.
let's not talk about how many oboes I have a problem.
That's fine. You're just like, "Which one do I love?"
And honestly, on different days, I love different ones, but it's always my marigos every time.
She's Americo. What can she say? She loves
Mhm.
Americo.
Well, outside of gigging, I don't really do anything because I'm lame. I did apply to a job at the UNCG School of Music to be the assistant to the director, but
Yes, yes.
who knows if that will work out or not.
Well, I'm hoping it works out for you. Sending all the good job vibes for you.
Fingers crossed, health insurance, a salary, like,
Please, salary slash cane money
um,
right here. Cane money, gouger and instrument repair and maintenance money.
mhm. Well, and truly, I think this goes right into, like, what a lot of this podcast is about is just being open and honest with everybody about, like, what being a musician really is like. And now I feel like I have to have a full-time job because it's just not paying enough. Like I said, I have jobs with 6 symphonies, and it's not enough to make a
Exactly.
living, and I sell reeds on my website, and I have a teaching job with 0 students, but that's not the point.
Still,
But still, it's just nuts, and I'll be making, like, almost twice at this job than I am gigging, and it's just like, "Oh my gosh, how nuts."
yeah, it's crazy. I was talking to
Um,
one of my friends about that yesterday, and she was like, "Yeah, so, like, you have your new job, you're teaching your own private studio on top of teaching, like, at another, like, music store, and you make reads for your students and yourself." She's like, "And you're playing a bunch of concerts? Sounds like you have, like, 4 or 5 jobs. So when do you sleep?" And I told her, "I don't know. I just close my eyes and I wake up and I'm screaming into the next day to see what my schedule looks like."
yes,
I
truly.
cannot take us back when the arts paid for everything and we were completely fine just
I
doing oboe.
I have definitely talked to some people, like, they're in their 60s and whatnot, but they're like, "Yeah, I taught, I played in 2 symphonies, I bought a house, I made a living." Like, they were still kind of like, quote, unquote, "poor musicians," but I'm like, "But you bought a house." Like, you
You
uh,
but
with just doing that. I mean, and then other freelance work too, but still, it was like, that's all you needed to do it, and that's really something. So my gig from last week where the temperature was 101, one of the big reasons I didn't pitch a fit is because the pay is really good. I
right.
say really good, and really what I mean is that should be standard to get that, like, 135 or 145 per service plus mileage. It was so different to walk away from a gig at the end of the week and be like, "I made, like, $850 or whatever," instead of my usual, like, "I made $450 this week, and I had to drive an hour and a half every night to and from, so 3 hours total." It's just like,
Ugh, yeah.
oh, it's yeah. So it's like, I get that these organizations don't necessarily have the money to pay us, but it's bad. They're like 10 years behind, and the pay, they try to, like, raise it per service by, like, a dollar or 2 every so often, but I'm like, we're a decade behind or more on pay. It's
Exactly.
it is rough out there, y'all.
It's rough, and we just try to think of it in the mindset of, like, we love doing this, we chose to do music because we love the art and the craft of it and just, letting music connect us to people. But then it's like, I would love if the music could connect me to some money. Like, could help me keep my lights on and pay for this expensive little screaming stick that I have sitting, like, right next to me, you know? But the change is coming. It's coming slowly but surely, and we
Well,
just have to
as
see how
things get even more expensive, the pay goes up, so it's just not quite keeping up.
no.
That's
Look,
that's the problem.
hmm, the cost of living and being an oboist.
We are also gonna have a little section here where we talk about a composer or a piece that we really don't like. And today, we are going to talk about Copeland, specifically, I think Rodeo, and even more specifically, Hoedown.
Hold on.
And this came about because last week I had to play Buckaroo Holiday, which the English horn part is nothing. And actually, for Hoedown, the English horn part is really pointless. You only go ba ba You don't have to do the da 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 thing on English horn. And I was like, why?
What is
So honestly, anytime I have to play English horn on Hoedown, I'm just like, perfect. Love this for me.
sign me up every time. The minute I see I'm put on an oboe part for that, I am looking for the nearest exit because I just don't know what's gonna happen. I always play it with different people. So it's either someone who's
Mhm.
gonna like blow it out of the water entirely, or we're both going to be fighting to stay afloat the
Yeah.
entire time when we get to that section. Because it is
I am all about the slur to tongue to in that because it's hard. And my tongue does not move quickly. It's something I'm working on all the time. But
I'm gonna write that down because I have just been enduring it the way it's written. And slur to tongue too will save lives. So got that written here.
mm,
Slur to tongue two.
it's a game changer and no one can tell. Really, truly.
That's what we need. This is Oboe Hacks. You're playing
Yes.
Hoedown. Slur to tongue two, sponsored by Reed Slander.
I love cheating. I do it all the time in music. I mean, really, truly, constantly. I'm like, how can I make this little thing easier, but in a way that no one will have any idea?
I just want to just get through the piece in one piece.
Yes. Although, the last time I did play, I usually in the little oboe solo, I usually do throw in some slurs. I think I da 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 da. I think I do some slur two tongue twos in that too. And this last time I did it, I tongued it all. It was one of
I,
those things that I didn't do it that way in the rehearsal, and it was just for ed shows. So honestly, if I had completely mutilated it, it wouldn't have been a huge deal. But it was just like in the moment, and this is children, don't do it. Don't do what you haven't practiced. Don't do it. But I did it. Um, and I went, my tongue's really feeling it. The reed really feels like it can do it. I'm just going to tongue it. And it just happened so easily. And I was like,
oh,
ugh,
yes. Oh, victory screech right here.
yes. And then I think at the second concert, I was like, nah, I'm going to throw the slurs back.
And the best part about that is that you were doing ed shows. Those kids were screaming and hooping and hollering regardless. So you were
Yes.
a star the entire time. They're like, slur you tongue too, tongue it all. The applause booming, echoing.
And actually, I think after those concerts, on our way out to the car, one of the kids looked at me and went, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I went, "I don't even know." And I just kept on going.
They just
They just say things, and I'm like, "That's fine."
that's you know what? A little slander for the slanderers. That I'll never recover from that. That did me in actually. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the first episode of Obo Slander. You can not get in touch with us yet because we don't have any social media pages. By the time this airs, we might. We'll
We might.
see. It'll be something like Obo Slander or Obo dash slander or Obo underscore slander, slander Obo. It'll be, you get the idea, people. You'll find us. Um, we will also have an email address if you need to reach us at something like oboslander@gmail.com. Don't go ahead and email that because it might exist. We'll let you know. And for our next episode, we have no idea what's happening. It'll probably be a lot like this one with some slightly different information, and us just hanging out and having a good time. This one was not the most informative thing in the world, but they'll get better.
They'll get better, and we might even try to make some reads while we're doing it, potentially.
True. You guys can hear our weird crows and the awful sounds that happen while reed making and why they sound like trucks that clean out porta potties.
Yes. So stay tuned and get ready to follow us as soon as we are live on social media and email accounts.
And thank you for slandering with us. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you so soon.